subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. So we're going to be talking about The Boys Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3, non-spoiler review. Because this show's shocking, and you really don't want to spoil it for the audience. Comic book adaptation and mockumentary of modern society, from the superhero craze to the extreme modern politics of companies. I've seen it, and the famous people, the faux moral superiority. It captures all that perfectly well. I've seen every episode of The Boys, and I was at times disappointed with how serious it would take certain things when this show is meant to make fun of them. So an example of that would be the episode in Season 2, in the latter half of Season 2, where the guy keeps listening to the same podcast over and over every day, every morning, until he gets radicalized. Just the way it was handled, it was really off-putting. It didn't really fit the tone or vibe of the show to take something so serious instead of mock it the way it's supposed to be mocked, because that's where this show shines. Mocking both left and right side of politics, even though it's more so right side of politics, it still does something that no one else will really do in today's day and age, and it handles it very well for the most part. Every once in a while you get one of those writers who doesn't really seem like they fit with the show or understand what the show is, what the show's doing. Thankfully though, so far this season, I haven't seen too much of that. And like I said, non-spoiler review, I'm not gonna spoil any of the real good stuff. Huey and Butcher now work for the government, rounding up soups and sometimes having to compromise, exchanging one soup for like 3 soups, playing the politics of it, while Homelander gets increasingly fed up about being a puppet. Starlight gets promoted to a position of power that puts her right in the crosshairs of Homelander. These characters are insanely entertaining to watch, especially Homelander, a villain. You wouldn't think a villain that's this sick and sadistic would be such a joy to watch. But there are times where they actually make you feel things for despicable people. It's like no one else can do on any other show, and it's absolutely fascinating, their execution. The Deep, A-Train, Frenchie, Kamiko, Mother's Milk, all dealing with separate but layered and entertaining arcs. This show takes characters that have done awful, unforgivable things and makes you feel empathy and compassion for them. Everybody's got something that feels important on the show. Every character has something that feels really important. That some more entertaining than others, and sometimes, since it's such a large ensemble cast, you're like, I really want to get back to the other person, see what's going on there, follow that more. So that's a bit of one of the negatives. It's not really heavy weighing on you when you're watching it, because everybody's got something interesting going on, something with depth. Yeah, none of these roles really feel all that superficial or shallow or like filler material. And it's really shining on the meta social political commentary that is the most relevant and fair today. While it tends to poke more fun at the right, it still takes jabs at the left, typically more subtle jabs. It's watching the show, it's like taking a look behind the scenes of modern Hollywood, seeing all the BS about diversity, inclusion, representation, ratings, self-promotion, PR, and the way all these people really behave when the camera's off. It's violent, grotesque, bloody, gory, and you would probably retain memories of these scenes that you see and hear. Some pretty shocking. Even with amnesia, you would probably retain the memories of seeing some of these scenes because they're so out there and just baffling, a little bit disgusting, sometimes a little bit just jaw-dropping, and sometimes just insanely entertaining, laugh out loud entertaining, and sometimes heartfelt. The narrative is pretty character driven. large ensemble cast of characters driving this narrative to wherever it's going to go. Drugs, sex, violence, gore, emotional beats, layered characters, social commentary that's actually well written, acted, directed. Every scene subverts expectations in a way that stays in line with what this show is, what this show's supposed to be. It's not like how Star Wars has subverted expectations since Disney took over, where it all feels forced, unnatural. Like, it's not Star Wars at all, especially in cases of The Last Jedi, or Rise of the Skywalker, or even more recent with the Boba Fett series and Obi-Wan TV series, where it feels like we're not even watching the same characters anymore. This show is shining, and I'm excited to see more. I do have a couple of gripes and complaints, and that could be potentially spoilerish. Jensen Ackles, if you're at all familiar with the stuff going on, he plays Soldier Boy this season. And if you're a fan of Supernatural, you're going to love seeing him, especially because Eric Kripke did the first 5 seasons of Supernatural, and he's the one running this show. And then you've got like Bobby Singer from Supernatural on here running his political platform. So if you could get a scene between those two, that would be absolutely great. And plus, they wanted to get Jeffrey Dean Morgan on here, which if you could get a scene between all 3 of them, that would be absolutely exceptional. But one of my gripes is 3 episodes in, we don't see much Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy. If that's something you're extremely looking forward to, don't expect to get much of it here. You don't get to know much about his character or see much of his character. Also, in the flashbacks for the Payback team, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't make these guys seem more competent and formidable in comparison to the 7th. So if you do get the idea that there may be some kind of showdown in present day between, they would actually be a real threat. I'm a little shocked by how bad Payday is, how bad they paint a handful of idiots. There's certain scenes in here that are just laugh out loud in relation to the way news interviews are handled and trailers for, you got your TV grade movie trailer, and then you got your big blockbuster. Just the execution of these things, not without my dolphin. So really hilarious stuff on here. Also some really gross stuff that you won't be able to unsee. So with that said, though, so far I've really enjoyed The Boys this season. I don't know what I would, because this could just completely fall off a cliff and be a complete disaster. So far it's going pretty strong. 3 episodes in. Now we have to wait a week to see each episode after the next. Wait and wait until this all plays out. I don't know how many episodes they have this season. I can't remember how many they usually have. But so far, it's a very strong kickoff that could go all the way. I'd give these episodes together, like, I can't really rate the episodes individually since I watched them all 3 together and they kind of just blur to one, but I would say it's a really strong start for like all 3 episodes. 7 out of 10. Whereas shows like Obi-Wan that I was immensely greatly looking forward to, I am shockingly disappointed by. And this whole superhero age and craze, The Boys has set themselves in a very unique position due to the nature of today's politics and all that. The Boys is something quite unique, quite enjoyable so far. I'm enjoying this more than I did last season, and hopefully we don't get one of those terrible transparent episodes that are taking real life stuff too seriously. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Have you seen The Boys yet? Are you looking forward to The Boys? Did you wish you got more Jensen Ackles in these first 3 episodes as Soldier Boy? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything. But I will continue to review this. Like, subscribe, stay awesome. Rock on.